Hey guys, Mike here. So obviously we kicked off the Thanksgiving week in the market, and it was kind of like, interesting day to say the least, with a lot of stocks breaking down. Some of them major stocks, which we're going to look at. We'll go into the S&P chart and kind of tell you what I think, and then get to see what you think, obviously. But before we get into that, I'm going to go over a few things, and this first one is, I literally thought this was a joke when I saw it, and so I had to read into it and show this to you, and there's always a bull market somewhere. And this is amazing. So how an orphanage made $1.8 billion this year on one stock. And it has to do with Milton Hershey School Trust, right? The #1 holder of more than $13 billion of Hershey stock. Chocolate. Whoever knew, right? And I love chocolate, so I guess I should have bought this stock. It has a nice dividend too. But just look since October what this stock has done. Like of 8%, somewhere there, 36%. And I mean, that's just amazing when you look at where the S&P was up 42%. If you look at the beginning of November. So it's been killing it, right? I mean, a lot of people have been eating chocolate, I guess. I mean, I don't know what the deal with that is, but it doesn't always perform this well, but it has kicked butt and took names, right? It's like some of these other stocks I've showed you where you kind of, it just flies on the radar. It was Progressive's another one. You just look at these stocks and it's like, wow. I mean, that is unbelievable when you compare that to what the S&P has been doing this year and other tech stocks. And I mean, it's going to outdo Amazon, Apple, any of those, Microsoft, any of those stocks when it comes to how much growth they have this year, and it might even outdo them next year. We'll have to see how the market ends up turning out, but that just amazed me to see that, and good for them. I'm glad to see it. $1.8 billion. That's pretty sweet. And when you look at this right here, a couple more things I'm going to show you. This is the personal savings and credit card debt, which came out today, right? And on this visual, a visual, a picture's worth 1,000 words. You tell me which one is the personal savings and which one is the credit card debt. And yeah, there you go. That's the personal savings. That's the credit card debt. So that is not looking good there. It's never good when you see this big a divergence in between there, but I think it shouldn't be very shocking, right? And I don't think that spells anything good for the upcoming year, but we'll see. And another thing is, look at this right here. I talked to you guys about China and where big money is heading. I got another detailed video about this coming out this week, show you why. U.S. investors are buying a record number of China options, especially calls. And so look at that. That is just skyrocketing right now. And please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and share this video, guys. And again, the video you'll see later this week, you'll understand why that is happening. Big money is putting money into China right now. And I always tell you, stay up to date on this, okay? And I always will update you on it, so it's very important. But that leads us into what's going on with the S&P, right? Because obviously, nothing major, no big sell-offs, no buying, but it's not being allowed to really move right now, right? And if you look at what's really happening, it's not a big deal to me. But when you look at the chart, I mean, this is that consolidation phase, right? It sits there, right there around that major support level right there. Got the gap above, nothing's changed on that. The 200 SMA is still right up around that area. Just didn't put it on here. Still haven't broke down that trend line right there that it's respected so far since October 16th it is. I'm going to go ahead and remove this. That's another gap that needs to be filled eventually. But, like I said, either way, what's going to happen is it's going to fill that gap above or below it. And you look on the shorter time frames, there's a bullish flag forming if you want to look at it like that and move up. We kind of did the same thing in August before we did that move up. And I find it hard to believe. Maybe we're not going to go up and touch the top of the descending channel and hit the 200 SMA, but I find it hard to believe that big money brought us along this far to sit there and not at least let us touch the 200 SMA before they sell us off, if that's what happens. Could be wrong, never know. But again, I mean, people are still accumulating shorts right now, but right now you just see consolidation, move up, consolidation, moving up. I mean, that's just what's been happening so far. And, we have some discussions in the Discord. If you're ever wondering what I put there for the members, this is some of them. It just makes it easier for me to go in here and look at my research that I've already done. But you can see, I mean, you got Apple breaking down somewhat right now. I mean, again, it bounced right off that Friday, rejected again off the descending channel, fell below the 150 level. You better not let that RSI get below 50 or then you're in big trouble, right? Tesla heading toward the 200 SMA, broke 180. 150 is the next level just because it's such a volatile stock, and it had bounced off that 180 level between 177 and 180 multiple times. So that's a big breakdown when you look at it. I just imagine this thing bouncing off the 200 SMA though. I can just imagine, but You know, as we discussed in there's a lot of fanboys, a lot of people just love Tesla, a lot of followers in retail, so people will load up. It won't surprise me a bit. But to show you, there's always a bull market somewhere. I mean, look at this one right here. Now, this is Monster Beverage Corporation, obviously the energy drinks, and it finally broke above this major resistance level it had since July of last year. You see the inverse head and shoulders playing out. And so breakout or fake out, we'll see. But there are stocks that are, even when the market's down, that will continue to move up if obviously volume falls, that the RSI was good. And one problem Tesla's having right now as they get bigger is all these recalls, right? Another 321,000 cars recalled today for a light issue, 19th this year. And automakers have this, but Tesla, this is new to them, right? Having all these recalls. But this is what happens when you expand, right? And the stock's obviously under pressure from Elon selling and just, being obviously overextended in a market like this. It's starting to pay the price for its valuation. And I'm going to touch on that a little bit more in just a minute. But another one, you see Coinbase. I mean, it's a hot mess. Look at this thing. I mean, breaking down and understand there is no support levels under 4250 because all it's done is since the IPO over 200 has just come down, right? And so under 4250, nothing's there. Nothing's there to hold it up. And if you look, I mean, you see Bitcoin right now, it's breaking down, as I put in here right here, and you can see just struggling. As you magnify this, it broke down through that support level right there. It came back up to retest it once, twice, got rejected both times, tried holding this support level. It broke that after I think I actually posted this today at 11 o'clock. So I think it's down below that. And I just read that there's another crypto exchange talking about they're going to file bankruptcy if they can't get more liquidity. I think it's called Genesis or something. I've never heard of it. But it's like one after the other is lining up to go bankrupt. And so that's not going to help, obviously, Coinbase at all. And so if you're in that stock, I mean, maybe it gets a bounce. But again, there's really nothing to bounce off of. That's what's scary about it. That's why I said this could be, telling the members, this could be one for the books. Where you see just a gigantic implosion if this spread, this contagion keeps happening from FTX or whatever that company is called, then that's what's going to happen to anything tied into crypto. And speaking about Tesla, obviously big breakdowns. Again, it has a big fan base on the retail side and has a lot of people that absolutely just love Elon Musk, thinks he's a god, whatever, which amazes me. But, it's one of those things I was going to say as a side note. And let me tell me what you think in the comments. But you better be right about that guy, man, because if you're not right about him, and the reason why I say that is because in 5 years, he will be the most powerful man on the planet. And I'm not even lying. You're thinking, what do you mean? And I'm not talking about because he'll be one of the richest. When he brings SpaceX public, if he chooses to do that, obviously on paper, he'll probably be the richest man in the world. But it's not about that. It's about the fact that you're talking about a man that's going to have access to more information than anybody on the planet, even our own government. And what I mean by that, what are you talking about? Well, think about it. You start with Tesla cars. They don't just get you from point A to point B. What do they collect? Data. When you don't think they're listening to you, they're listening to you, right? All kinds of data, right? Then Starlink with SpaceX. All these satellites, he wants to give free internet to everybody. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure of that. Sure you do. Appreciate that, sir. But what are all those satellites going to be collecting? Data from all over the world, from everybody that's connected into it, right? And then what did he just buy and take private? One of the biggest social media platforms out there. And what do? Data, right? That's all they're going to be doing. And he knows that's the key, right? I mean, data is the new oil. Data and information in per se is everything. Ain't that right, Gordon?
The most valuable commodity I know of is information. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, and so that's the key, right? I've been hearing for years how, information is the new oil or data, and he's going to have more than anybody. And you can do a lot of good things with that data, or you can do a whole lot of bad things. So you better hope that you're right about him, because nothing's ever gone wrong in the history of this world when you give one man that much power. Has it? Yeah. So anyway, last thing I'm going to leave you with is this right here. This trend line better hold. This is the monthly on the QQQ, which tracks the NASDAQ. It's a logarithmic scale, but you can see bounced in 09, bounced in 2020, and we are laying right on top of it. It's bounced multiple times right now. But if this breaks down, that's a major thing that's going to happen. I think obviously you'll see where we're heading. And if you think about it, most things have played out so far perfectly, right? We had the kiss of death. Oh my God, gloom and doom. But what I tell you in the video, what I want you to take away from that video was we get a bounce. What have we gotten? We've gotten the bounce, right? When everything is all gloom and doom, we usually get these bounces. This will happen. The kiss of death had happened, and that's what we're getting, right? What happens later on, though, not too much longer after that, usually get a big sell-off. What are we approaching? The 200 SMA. Everything's just lining up right now, right? And so it's going to be a fun. I mean, usually this week or next week is going to have to decide what's happening. Usually that's what's going to happen, right? And going in December, we'll see what we get. Normally you get a Christmas rally, but is that going to happen this year? Because like I showed you, not all Thanksgiving weeks are positive. All right, I showed you. I think it's 2021 was extremely negative, and so was the week after that. But if you go through 2015 to 2020, they were positive. You go through the last 50, most of them are positive, especially on Wednesday, right? And so that's where we're at. But right now, it doesn't seem like the markets are moving too much at all, right? It's just like it's floating between like down or up maybe 1%, down 1%. Just keeps going back and forth, give and take, just consolidating. And there's going to be a move, definitely going to be a big move, I think, in either direction. We just got to figure out where the market wants to take us. And I mean by the market, I mean big money, market makers, institutions, not us. Okay, but it is interesting to see, certain stocks breaking down right now and approaching major support levels and key levels and moving averages and all that stuff. So, plenty of fireworks. If you want to get updates about the day, go ahead and join up for that membership. Less than a McDonald's combo. I enjoy it, and we're trying to build a community where you learn to fish, not somebody giving you a fish, right? And so you'll be presented those charts. You do what you want to do with it, right? And all kinds of stuff. So anyway, hope you guys have a good night. Hit the like, subscribe button if you got anything out of this. Always appreciate it. And I will see you tomorrow.